It's been almost 6 years now since the invasion of Afghanistan and the collapse of the Taliban regime, yet it would seem that your government is facing some dire difficulties in the country. Violence is on the rise, the insurgency is gaining ground. Why is it taking so long to stabilize Afghanistan?
It's a complex problem, first of all. When the international coalition against terrorism and the Afghan people joined hands to remove terrorists from Afghanistan and to bring liberation to Afghanistan, we achieved it in less than a month and a half. That means there is the will of the Afghan people to live a free life without violence and free from violence. Subsequent to that, the terrorists, when they were driven out of Afghanistan, found sanctuaries, found places where they could go and hide and recuperate and come back to Afghanistan. So in part, that was the reason for the return of some of them back into Afghanistan and the violence that we see.
And you've now recently been warning that Afghanistan could fall back into chaos if foreign troops withdraw too soon. You said that in the context of the possible pullout of Canadian troops by the end of 2009. You're at the United Nations meeting with officials from troop contributing countries. How are you able to convince them to commit those long-term military assets and aid to your country?
Well, it's a war against an enemy that's the enemy of all of us in the international community. It's not an Afghan war alone. It's not for Afghanistan alone. We are all together fighting extremism and terrorism, which challenged and hurt the rest of the world after they took Afghanistan. So, in order to complete the struggle, in order to complete this campaign, we need time.
How long will it take for your central government to be able to secure the country and provide security to all Afghans? Will it take 5 years, 10 years, more?
You see, Afghanistan, in the 30 years of war, beginning with the Soviet invasion and all other interferences, was almost completely destroyed. The army, the police, the bureaucracy, the judiciary, the infrastructure, all had gone. Most important of all, we lost all of our educated people, either to migration to the rest of the world or to the lack of education within Afghanistan. So it will take a number of years.
How many years? 10 years?
At least 10 years from today.
And you well know the resilience of the Afghan fighters you're up against. They defeated the British Empire, they defeated the Soviet Empire, and now, even in the face of the military and technological superiority of NATO forces, they are gaining momentum. Is there a military solution to this problem at all?
Well, if it's an Afghan fighter, then I'm part of that fight as well. We defeated the Soviets, we defeated the British Empire. Yes, the Afghans defeated that. This time it's not an Afghan fighter. It's a foreign fighter, foreign-backed element. Terrorists who are coming and destroying trying to destroy our progress, killing our people, killing our children, attacking mosques. So these people, the terrorists that are coming to Afghanistan trying to hurt us, we will fight them, and we have defeated them. It will take some time to eliminate them.
You mentioned foreign terrorists, but do you also refer to the Taliban when you speak of enemies of Afghanistan? And are they the enemies of Afghanistan or the enemy of the government?
Those of the Taliban, Afghan Taliban, who are part of Al-Qaeda or any other terrorist network, or are at the pay of some foreign master, they are no doubt the enemies of Afghanistan. But those of the Taliban who are not, who have run away for this reason or that, they are Afghans, they are the sons of the Afghan soil, they are welcome back to Afghanistan, and we are constantly working to bring them back and to embracing them again in Afghanistan.
Which foreign governments are you suggesting are aiding the insurgents?
I'm not going to mention any particular government or country. I will just say that the extremists in Afghanistan had backers from outside, and that's why the international community came to Afghanistan to fight together with us, and to defeat them, and let's hope that those backers will not be there anymore.
Now, the government of Afghanistan is clearly faced with a well-organized insurgency, which, in spite of, some would say because of the presence of foreign troops, is gaining ground in the country. Do you accept that?
No. No. Had there been reason within Afghanistan against foreign troops, we would have not accepted them in the first place.
But some accuse you of being stooges of the US, of the West, because of accepting this number of foreign troops in the country, about 50,000 of them.
Look, we were a country occupied by terrorist networks and their backers. They were destroying our lives on a daily basis. They were destroying vineyards. They were destroying mosques. They were completely preventing life from progressing in Afghanistan. And the rest of the world came when the rest of the world was challenged from Afghanistan, when the Twin Towers were hit from Afghanistan. Then the rest of the world came, first of all, to fight terrorism. And they had to fight it in Afghanistan because the terrorists had occupied Afghanistan. So the world did not come because we wanted them to come, though we wanted them to come years before September 11. Afghanistan knew that we would not be able to free ourselves from the grips of terrorists without the help of the international community.
Looking at the situation today, it is far from safe or secure. Do you think that the time has come to engage in serious discussions with the Taliban, who after all are an integral part of Afghan society?
Yes, the ones that I described earlier. The Afghan Taliban. Definitely, they're part of our country, part of our life. They're welcome, and we are in a process of trying to bring them back to Afghanistan. There is a reconciliation process going on, definitely.